Namaste and welcome back to Awakened Heart Yoga with Premaloka. So I'm coming to you today to do another of our 20 minutes to shine bright sequences. So we're going to get straight into it. I'm going to ask you to come to the back of your mat, sitting over your heels, and lower yourself down into Shashankasana, which is child's pose. If you feel any tension at being in this pose in the hips or your back, you can stack your fists and place your forehead on your fists. You can even bring a little bit more length and height by stacking the fists and balancing the forehead at the third eye on the thumb. And you can also pop a pillow in between the buttocks or the top of the thighs and the calves for a bit of comfort if you need. Otherwise, come all the way down and bring your breath awareness to Brahmadya, the center at the inside of the forehead. And we're going to focus our breath and awareness there for just a moment. So in the very center of the forehead at Brahmadya, if you can, I'm going to ask you to visualize a white, bright, shining light, a pinpoint of light, the very center at Brahmadya. And let your breath awareness and focus be there. And then we're going to connect that light back and down from there. At the top of the spine, in between the ears, is Agnya, the chakra that governs our mind space and mind center. I'm going to ask you to start directing the white light back to Agnya and then out through the very center at Brahmadya. So breathe in, and the light either enters or is at the very center of Brahmadya. Draw it back and down to Agnya, and then exhale and send it directly out again through the eyebrow center. I'm going to ask you to do this for just a few more breaths. Now I'm going to ask you to move your focus and concentration down to Muladhara, 2 inches down and in from the tailbone. Focus your energy there. Breathe in, draw the prana, let it be a white bright light if you can, back to the tailbone. Draw it up from the tailbone to Manipura behind the navel, further up Anahata behind the sternum, further up to Vishuddhi, pit of the throat, back to Agnya, out through the crown of the head, Sahasrara, and then draw it all the way back down to Muladhara. Let it go, and we're going to start to move. So I'm going to ask you, before we move, start gently. This does require good abdominal strength as you come up, so draw the navel in, keep it engaged to protect your back, and we'll start nice and slow. Don't push into a big arching back bend, just move into it nice and slowly. So we're just going to start with a little Ushtrasana or camel flows. Draw the navel in, engage, inhale, come up onto the knees, lift the right hand up, arch back just a little. Exhale, tuck down, come all the way back to child. Inhale to the other side, up, strength through the navel, thighs and buttocks, arch back just a little. Coming all the way down. This time it's both hands. Inhale up, arch back, push the hips forward, just a little back bend, curl down, draw the navel in. We're going to do it again. Inhale up to the right. Little bit more of a back bend now. Exhale down, draw the navel in, tuck under, inhale up. Exhale down. Both together now, inhale up. Exhale down. One more. Inhale to the right, arch it that little bit further back. Exhale down. Inhale up. Exhale down. This time we're going to come up, both hands arch back and raise the gaze to the sky. Exhale down. Couple of nice, slow, full breaths in recovery. A little cat flow. Bring the arms all the way around into extended child. Inch the fingers up a little bit towards the top of the mat. Give the back and the arms a good stretch. Walk the fingers away from you. A little bit further. And then ease off the stretch. Inhale up into arched cat. Exhale into cat extension, eyes to Premaloka. Sweep the hips over to the right and come into a full cat rotation. Exhale all the way back to the other side. Inhale, cat extension. Exhale, extended child. And we're going to do that again. Inhale into arched cat. Exhale all the way up to cat extension, eyes to the eyebrow center. Inhale, sweep the hips over, come into a full cat rotation. Exhale, come all the way into another rotation in the opposite direction. Inhale, cat extension. Exhale, extended child. Once more. Inhale, arching. Exhale, extending. Inhale, sweeping over into one side of a rotation. Exhale, all the way into another. Inhale, extension. Exhale, extended child. Inhale, coming up onto all fours. Have a little play with your alignment. First of all, bring your spine to neutral. You may want to curve through, arch a little bit of a rotation, and come until your back is neutral. Have a little look down and see that your knees are stacked under the hips and in parallel, that your wrists are stacked under the shoulders, fingers splayed wide, little finger out towards the outside edge of the mat, insides of the elbows facing each other. Okay, just we'll do a couple more of these little tucking rotations, just little ones. Really start to warm the spine up. We're going to do a little bit of work on the spine, so we want it to be nice and warm if we go into some good deep bends. And now I'm going to ask you to place the hands about one hand width forward. So now we have a slight angle to the arms. And what we're going to do is we're going to move into a few little cat dip challenges. So the idea is that you sway the hips forward and you tuck the chest and chin down. You push into the hands and you come back. So how far down you lower is all dependent on your strength in your arms, particularly your upper arms. Just come down as low as feels comfortable for you. Don't push yourself too far. Draw the navel in, protect your back. And you can either have the elbows out to the sides or tucked into the sides, depending what feels comfortable for you. You can also change the position of your hands and have them facing in if that's comfortable. Personally, it works better for me, hands facing forward. Draw the navel in, sway the hips forward, drop down, chest just off the floor, push in and come back up again, sway back. So ideally the nipples just graze the floor. If not, just come down as far as is comfortable. Sway forward and push back. We're going to do 2 more. Sway forward, drop down, push back, and once more. Push all the way back into extended child. We're not going to stay there. Push up, rolling cat, and find yourself in mountain. Once again, we're not going to stay here. We're going to walk the hands all the way back, and we're going to come into a deep squat and wrap. So the feet can be a little bit of space between them, or if it's comfortable, you can have your feet all the way together and wrap your arms tightly around your knees. A good firm pressure of the thighs to the belly, and drop your chin down. Okay, you should feel a nice stretch through your back. Breathe and lower the tailbone a little towards the floor. Draw the navel in. Breathing deeply now. I'm going to ask you to drop the hands down in front of you on the mat. We're going to come up into a rolling forward bend, and we're going to keep our belly attached to our thighs. So we're only going to come up as far as we can that the belly and the thighs remain in contact. So if you feel that to straighten your legs you need to lift your belly off your thighs, don't straighten your legs. That's not the aim. The aim is to give the spine a nice stretch, but at the same time we're working internally on the organs within the belly. So coming onto the hands, and we're going to breathe in as we start to rise. I still have a bend to my knees. Exhale, the hands slide back out along the floor. Inhale, slide the hands back, start to rise a little more. Still that bend to the knees. Only straighten the legs if you've got that full contact. Inhale. If you feel that that feels good, you can straighten. Drop the head down. Exhale back down. Once more. Inhale. Exhale. Last time. Inhale up. Exhale down. Widen the legs. Feet out to the side of the mat. Drop the tailbone down towards the floor. Arms on the insides, top of the knees. Mala asana pose. And lengthen, straighten through the spine. Hands in prayer. Just pausing here. If this doesn't feel too comfortable, you can come up a little, straighter through the spine, and the elbows in between the knees. Otherwise, I'm going to get you to come down, straighten through the spine, lower the tailbone towards the floor, and pause. Just 3 breaths here. Okay, we're going to move into a little Shakti Bandha, an energy releasing pose. It's also a release physically, emotionally, mentally. Bringing the hands in front, out in front of you, clasping the fingers. You can point through the 4 fingers if it's comfortable. Draw the navel and really engage your abdominal muscles, your glutes and your quads as you come up. And we're going to go. And then as we come down and chop, we push the energy up, real sort of bang as it comes up out of the chest and the throat. Really release. We all need to release. Inhale up. One more. And bring the hands up to prayer. And just hold, close the eyes for a moment. Deep breaths in and out. Lower the tailbone. Release through the sacrum. Pop the hands back behind you, sitting down. I'm going to ask you to scooch all the way down nice and safely until you're in Shavasana. Few deep recovery breaths in Shavasana before we start to move again. Legs are apart, feet splayed out to the sides, arms away from the outside edges of the body. Long and flat through the spine and the back. Palms to the ceiling. Chin tucked down slightly towards the pit of the throat. The eyes are closed. Deep breaths in and out. We're going to move into some Premaloka, some forward bend. We're going to start off with it being a little dynamic. If you're feeling in any way abdominally challenged, then please feel free to have the knees bent and the flats of the feet on the floor, or you might even like to just have one. It's entirely up to you. If you're feeling good and strong, then the hands are down by the sides. So this is reasonably dynamic at the belly. And we want to protect our back, so keep the navel drawn in, all 4 sets of abdominal muscles engaged. Draw down, inhale, come all the way up, exhale forward. Inhale up and we're rolling down. Inhale up, exhale forward. Inhale up, exhale down. So for the next couple, I'm going to give you the option of bringing in the plow pose, halasana. You don't have to do this. You can just continue with your forward bend, but I'll take you through a couple just in case you'd like to add it. Inhale up, exhale forward. Inhale up, and then as we roll down, we lift the legs, we bring them over the head into halasana. And then as we exhale, we roll them all the way down. Up we come again. Exhale over. Inhale up, rolling down, lifting the legs all the way over into plow. And roll back. Lower the legs all the way down to the mat and find yourself in Shavasana once again. Couple of deep breaths here. And then just sitting up nice and safely, draw the navel in. You can turn to your side or you can just come all the way up. So now that we're up and upright, we're going to move into just a couple of little asanas before we finish up. Leaning forward, taking hold of the right foot, and I'm going to ask you, sorry, that's the left, place it over your thigh where it feels comfortable. It can be just at the knee, or if it feels comfortable, come up towards the hip. Just a few little opening sways first, and then pop the foot up towards the hip bone. Now we're going to move through these reasonably dynamically because I'm aware that we're running out of time. We're going to move into a little twist first. Inhaling, bring the arms out to shoulder height, and then pivoting and twisting towards the bent knee, bringing the right hand in, little fulcrum here, pressing it into the back of the left knee. The left hand comes in, steeples in behind the back, and you're looking over your left shoulder. Now, everyone's arms are different lengths. You may be more comfortable with your hand flat on the floor. I like mine steepled so that it brings nice length to the spine, and we're just breathing as we look over the shoulder. You can close the eyes and the breath travels up and down the spine. Navel is drawn in, the chin is in neutral, and we just press a little bit further as we breathe deeply. Ease a little bit further into the twist. An inhalation here, extend a little bit more, and then exhale and release, coming all the way back. We're going to move into a little forward bend. Just go as far as is comfortable for you today, and that might only just be to here. Don't overstretch. Breathing in, sweeping the arms up. Exhale, the hands drop down, and just ease forward as much as is comfortable. Feel a nice little massage of the heel into the lower belly. Breathe in and out deeply twice here. Soften. And then inhale all the way back up. Exhale and release. If you do a lot of yoga, it's lovely. Now you could move into a little plow pose, but we're running out of time, so I'll save that for another day. Inhale, releasing the leg and tucking it in nice and tight in towards the thigh, realigning the hip in its socket. And we're just going to bend forward and move straight into the other side. So this foot can pop here onto the knee, or open up the hip slightly and pop up here onto the hip bone. And we're just going to do exactly the same. Breathe in, arms out wide to the side, twist, come here and bring your hand, tuck it into the tailbone, nice and long up the spine, or flat if you need. Your left arm is your fulcrum arm, back of the hand to the top of the left knee and thigh, and twist looking over the shoulder. The chin is in neutral, navel drawn into the spine. Nice energy and prana traveling up and down the spine as you breathe in and out. One more deep breath in, extend a little further. Exhale, come all the way back around to neutral or forward facing. Inhale, we're stretching up to the sky. Exhale, coming forward. Once again, the hands can drop and you can stay just where it feels comfortable. If it feels comfortable to come all the way down, do. Nice little bit of pressure in, heel to the belly. Just a couple of breaths in here, in and out. Soften through the back. The head hangs loose. It's exactly the same if we're up here. You can use your hands for stability and your arms. Draw the navel into the spine. And then you will breathe in, come all the way back up. Loosen off the leg as you come to upright. Pop the heel down to the floor, hug the thigh into the belly, arms wrapped around the shin. Make sure that we are engaged within the hip again, and then stretch the legs out long. Draw the navel in, safely come all the way down to Shavasana. We're almost out of time, so unfortunately this is going to be a really brief little pranayama or / meditation. I'm going to ask you, once you're relaxed in Shavasana, to close the eyes, be aware of the breath, the inhalation and the exhalation, entering the body at the soles of the feet. Just spend a moment as you soften into the mat and relax, being aware
aware of your entire vessel, your physical body. Be aware, look deep inside the entire akasha, the entire space, and see it as this infinite dark, velvety space. Then be aware of the soles of the feet. Be aware as you breathe in of inhaling a bright, white, high frequency energy in through the very center of the soles of the feet. Streams of high frequency light piercing the centers of the soles of the feet, traveling up, and as it does, it transforms this dark space into a bright light space. It comes all the way up on the inhalation to the chitakasha, and then as you exhale, the white light pushes down again, and as it does, the space becomes dark again, and at the soles of the feet release. This time a black soot or dust swirls out from the centers of the soles of the feet, and attached to that is anything negative being held within you at the moment. So the high frequency white light is transformational. It comes in, it's filled with purity, it's filled with love and devotion and compassion, kindness and gratitude. It washes up. And then as you exhale and the akasha becomes dark again, anything that no longer serves you and is negative releases into the swirling dust from the centers of the souls. Be aware, attached to it, anything that you know is negative being held within you at the moment. It could be negative emotion, it could be something that you no longer want to retain within you, it could be an emotional aspect of yourself, or it could be something that you're holding on to, a hurt or an upset or an anger. Release it and let it go out of the soles of the feet. Letting go of this now. If you have the time, please feel free to remain in Shavasana and continue with this practice. If not, gently come back to your physical body. Prepare to come out of Shavasana. Take your time to reconnect with your breath and your body before you open your eyes and come back to the energy and the space around you. Just take your time. This is a very short in today, so once again, as I always say, please feel free to check in with one of my separate pranayams or a nidra vidya. I suspect that this is longer than 20 minutes, but hopefully not too much longer. So namaste, Hari Om Tat Sat. This sadhana is complete.